Hi there, I'm Mark Venturelli, Game Director on Hellclock. Hellclock is an exile-like, roguelike game about crafting builds, gaining power, and blasting through dungeons as fast as you can to rescue the soul of your mentor from literal hell. Before you dive into hell, we got plenty of ways to customize your build. You start with just a few skills, which will eventually unlock 21 that you can heavily modify. You can also purchase or loot blessed gear that permanently improves your base stats. The Great Bell of Canudos is your first skill tree, letting you add more stats and unlock new features. Most importantly, there's a reliquary, where you equip relics found during runs. Unique relics can get really wild and completely change how your skills work. As you descend into hell, your clock will give you 7 minutes to journey as far as you can. Although we believe the playing around the clock mechanic is very fun, we also don't try to force you to play the game our way. If you hate timers and want to disable this feature, simply toggle on relax mode. This is your game, so you decide what is fun. Let's talk more about character progression, because you have plenty of choices to make mid-run. When you level up, you can choose one of several blessings of proficiency for your chosen skills. These blessings can be extremely powerful and also roll with color-coded rarities. The real meat of character customization comes from our constellation system. You start with access to just the center of the map, but as you complete constellations, you earn devotion path points to unlock new ones. We know ARPG fans love variety, so we plan to have 52 unique constellations available in Endgame. I hope you liked this brief overview of Hellclock. We'll launch on June 18th with a full free ad campaign, but after the credits roll, we hope a lot of you will be wanting more. Soon after release, a free update will add Ascension, our endgame system. Stay tuned for more information about Ascension soon. Thanks for your support, join our Discord, and check out our demo on Steam. See you in a few weeks. Hi there, I'm Mark Venturelli, Game Director on Hellclock. Hellclock is an Exile-like, roguelike game about crafting builds, gaining power, and blasting through dungeons as fast as you can to rescue the soul of your mentor from literal hell. Before you dive into hell, we got plenty of ways to customize your build. You start with just a few skills, which will eventually unlock 21 that you can heavily modify. You can also purchase or loot blessed gear that permanently improves your base stats. The Great Bell of Canudos is your first skill tree, letting you add more stats and unlock new features. Most importantly, there's a reliquary, where you equip relics found during runs. Unique relics can get really wild and completely change how your skills work. As you descend into hell, your clock will give you 7 minutes to journey as far as you can. Although we believe the playing around the clock mechanic is very fun, we also don't try to force you to play the game our way. If you hate timers and want to disable this feature, simply toggle on relax mode. This is your game, so you decide what is fun. Let's talk more about character progression, because you have plenty of choices to make mid-run. When you level up, you can choose one of several blessings of proficiency for your chosen skills. These blessings can be extremely powerful and also roll with color-coded rarities. The real meat of character customization comes from our constellation system. You start with access to just the center of the map, but as you complete constellations, you earn devotion path points to unlock new ones. We know ARPG fans love variety, so we plan to have 52 unique constellations available in Endgame. I hope you like this brief overview of Hellclock. We'll launch on June 18th with a full free ad campaign, but after the credits roll, we hope a lot of you will be wanting more. Soon after release, a free update will add Ascension, our endgame system. Stay tuned for more information about Ascension soon. Thanks for your support, join our Discord, and check out our demo on Steam. See you in a few weeks.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another IndieX 2025 session. If you don't know me, I'm Fish, also known as Your Mother is a Fish. And maybe you thought I wasn't gonna join you this year, but here I am to show you a very cool game called Hellclock. You might have seen it around, a lot of people have been playing it, and with a very good reason, I have to say. And with me, I have the pleasure of having Mark Venturelli from Snail. Mark, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great talk about the game. I will confess, I will have a lot of trouble of talking possibly, because for those that never saw the game, it is a timed game. It's very chaotic, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. What can you tell us very briefly about the game?
So Hellclock is an ARPG, so it's similar to Diablo, Path of Exile, Green Dawn, games like that, but it has a roguelike structure similar to Hades. And the main mechanic in the game is the titular Hellclock, right? So it is a race against the time. But of course, if some people get stressed by timers in games, so you can turn that off. There is a relax mode that you can use and you can play the game at your own pace. We do highly recommend that you go with the Hellclock. It makes the game so much more fun.
Yeah, like the whole mechanic, like how the game works is based around that, but I think it's great that you added that option, honestly. And I would suggest just to jump right into the game, and I will create a new save data so everyone can see the beginning of the story, because it actually has a big focus on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it has a big focus on story. It definitely doesn't get in your way at all. It's even less story than a game like Hades. It's very ARPG in that sense. The story is the background for the action. It barely gets in your way. But it is a very cool story for us as a Brazilian studio. We're telling the story. There's a real story in Brazil from the late 19th century, the massacre of Canudos, also called the War of Canudos. Very, very grim, dark, real life events that we made a dark fantasy universe out of.
And I'm interested why you decided to pick that one, that piece of history specifically.
It's still relevant, I think, in Brazil. It's an open wound in Brazilian history, and it's also, like I said, a very grim, dark story. The real story is already almost like fantasy. It's so dark, and we knew we wanted to make a Diablo style game. So we wanted to have that like really really dark horror aesthetic,
Mm-hmm.
and we thought that this story would be a really good match for that.
I love the voice acting in the game. It's so good.
Thanks. I can't hear the gameplay. You're listening to it in English or in Portuguese?
In English, in English.
Cool.
But I did play a little bit in Portuguese, and it was very good as well.
Thanks.
It messed me up a little bit, like understanding what they were saying, and then reading it in English as well, since I'm Portuguese. But it was great. It was great. Like it gave another feeling to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, we did the best we could with the English version, but I think the Brazilian Portuguese version, it's the original, right? So the original is always going to be better, I think.
If anyone wants, I can change it at will, which is something you can do.
Yeah, don't worry, play what you like. It's just everybody knows that, as long as everybody knows that you have both. Because sometimes people stream in Portuguese, and we're happy about that. But then like a lot of people in chat think, oh, there's no English VO. So
Yeah.
it is like if you've been playing Ghost of Yotei, it's kind of the same thing. Like you play in English, you play in Japanese. I feel like playing with the original VOs is harder, right? Because you have to stop and read. It's the same thing. I've been playing Ghost of Yotei. It's the same thing. Like I try to play with Japanese most of the time, but sometimes it gets very hectic. Just trying to read and keep up with the action at the same time because I don't speak anything in Japanese.
Yeah.
But it's so much more immersive to play in Japanese.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with Hellclock. I think it's much more immersive to play in Brazilian Portuguese, but it is at least like the story is less important in Hellclock. So you can just go with the vibes.
But I definitely agree. I do the same thing. I usually prefer to play games in their original language, but if it's a game where a lot of things are happening and they keep talking over it, it's just, yeah, I can't just do both things at the same time.
Understandable. Sometimes I stream, and yeah, like talking and playing at the same time is definitely a skill. It's not easy.
It is. It is interesting because I streamed Hellclock in the past, and I streamed a little bit in Portuguese, and I was laughing a lot, but most of my chat, since I stream in English, were not understanding because they don't understand Portuguese. But it's cool at least to make them hear it.
Cool. And what's your familiarity with ARPGs? Like, how deep have you gone into like Diablo, PoE?
I played both. So I never played Diablo 4, but I've played all the previous Diablos, and I played PoE as well. I haven't tried PoE 2 yet. I'm waiting for the full release, but yeah, I'm a big fan of Diablo, at least in the past, and also I love Hades, so this was the perfect mix for me. Once I saw it, like, yes.
Nice. You're definitely our target audience then.
Yeah. The one thing that does stress me out is the clock, but I think it's very well balanced. And a person does eventually get used to how the mechanic works and learns how to move around the map fast and the enemies to ignore, the places to ignore. Was that hard to do, to find like that balance?
Yeah, that took a lot of iteration, right? And especially last year we had Steam Next Fest. We had a demo out, and there's a lot of people streaming and playing. That's the most helpful thing for us as developers, is to actually see people playing like we're doing right now, right? I learn a lot every time I see somebody play the game. And for us, like, the clock has been so important just to make the combat in the game just feels better. I think that if you can play in relaxed mode and just take your time, And then if you just go like breaking every single pot and stuff like that, and slowly like clearing out the entire map, I think the game becomes so much more repetitive and less fun, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you have to push, and you're making those decisions, and you're making like, should I go for a chest right now? Should I not? Like, should I try and kill this
Yeah.
rare pack, or is this rare mod like too dangerous? Gonna take so much time, and you're not like slowly and carefully crawling through the dungeon. I think it's just much more fun way to play the game, in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely a change because I am a person that loves to explore every single nook and
There
cranny
you
of the
go.
map.
There you go.
And I get like anxious when I don't, but here I have to put that on the side and actually just push onward
There
and
you
make
go.
choices.
And that was something that from early on, it was really clear to us it was the right choice. Because if you compare a game, for example, with normal action roguelikes, which are combat
Mm-hmm.
focused like Hades, for example, they are very room based. They are a room
Yeah.
with an encounter, right? So the encounter is contained within that space, and that's basically it. And the encounter design is going to dictate the pace. And we wanted to give you a dungeon to explore, similar to, especially Diablo 1 was a huge influence for the dungeon design
Mm-hmm.
early on. Uh, and we noticed that if players were every single time they were from the first floor, they were trying to full clear and open every chest and break every jar. Like it was very slow. Like each run would take like 30, 45 minutes, even early on, and the game would get very repetitive. And the clock just made everything better and just makes the game faster, and we balance the game around it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, especially for the campaign, on endgame it becomes a thing again. But on campaign, after you get used to it, maybe your first 5 runs or something like that, you clear Act One. It's basically a non-issue. It's not something that you're thinking about all the time. You just develop this flat, fast play style, and we do
Mm-hmm.
freeze. You can see right now because I think my oh, it's only I don't know if my head is on top of the clock, but it's frozen right now.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is.
there you go. The clock is frozen right now, so we freeze them during campaign. We freeze them in boss fights, just to make sure the players don't they're able to actually experience the encounter for the first time. But after an end game, we don't freeze the timer anymore, so it becomes
Oh.
more of a consideration that you gotta have. But it's overall, especially on the campaign, the clock is basically there to teach you how the game wants to be played, pacing wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I, I've definitely ran past like huge sections just trying to get to the boss and then
Hmm.
met the boss with like 1 single second left and I felt victorious and then died straight away. But doesn't matter. I
There you
still
go.
got there in time.
There you go. And personally, I think that's the most fun way to play ARPGs in general. Like I've been
Yeah.
playing Diablo like since the old days. I played Diablo 2 for a shameful amount of hours, and I like a few years ago I got into Diablo 2 speedrunning. Uh,
Ooh.
and overall, like playing fast is if you play PoE or games like that, just mapping really
Yeah.
fast in end games. Basically, zoom is what players like to do in these kinds of games, and it's very fun to play this way. And I think just optimizing your choices in an RPG, I think it's a very meaningful gameplay. There's a lot of skill in understanding like, okay, like I am strong in this, I'm strong in that. Like, am I running behind the curve of progression? Can I just keep mobs right now and just go straight to the boss, or should I farm a
Yeah.
little bit more? Like all of these are skills in an ARPG, and with Hell Clock we wanted to put that front and center, and it kind of works. I've seen a lot of people, especially on the dev scene, who like yourself, they have been like full clearing people. You know, they will always play ARPGs like very slow, methodical, and full clearing, and thinking like 30, 40 hours to beat the campaign.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think Hell Clock kind of unlocks that fun of zooming past and trying
Hmm.
to like clear an ARPG as fast as you can. Because I think with progression-based games, like eventually you're going to outpower the content, right? It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
If you take
Yeah.
it slow and you pick everything up and you beat and level up and you get gear and you get a good build going, eventually the game is going to be like not challenging for you, right? That's basically every single ARPG. So for me, I think the meaningful play in these kinds of games comes from, okay, but how fast can I do it? With how few gear and how few levels I can clear this content, you know?
I wanted this one, but I have no money.
Life
Oh,
is
wow.
huge. Like if you get life and then you get life regen, which is the second one after that.
Oh,
3% life regen is probably the best blessing you can get early game.
nice. Okay, strat.
It basically just carries you, especially in boss fights. Because early on, you basically have no regeneration, you have no recovery whatsoever
Yeah.
until you get some items. So the blessing is there to just give you that early game regen. It's goated. But you don't really, I have no idea how your time is looking because my head is on top of the clock. But
2 minutes.
you're doing well.
2 minutes now, and now it's frozen.
That devil is truly
You're killing merchant first try for sure.
Ooh.
Or did I
Let's see.
Did I just jinx it?
I hope not.
the merchant. You robbed us. Brought our down.
Now, boss fights are something that we have improved a lot in this latest patch, patch 1.1, which came out at the beginning of the month. And now they have a mechanic, maybe we will see it soon. Unless you're really a pro gamer, you don't even get hit. But if you do get hit, you're gonna see the first.
Now I want to get hit on purpose at least.
No. You gotta flex. You gotta flex the no hit boss fight.
Let's see.
Yeah. You can do it.
Okay. That was close. Ah! No!
There, she got it. There you go. So we have introduced this new mechanical curse, and it was a way for us to balance the boss fights better. So what happens now is that bosses don't do that much damage because before some bosses could like one hit kill and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they do that much damage, but they build these curse stacks, which make you take more damage, and they stack throughout the fight. So that gives you some leeway to learn the fight and get hit a few times without dying. But after that, like as your curse builds up, eventually you're gonna get one hit kill, right? So it's just a more forgiving way to teach you the fight.
Yeah. Does it go away eventually with the time, or
No.
it just goes away at the end?
Only after you beat the boss, yeah.
Okay.
So we have
I
this
see.
issue. It's always an issue with action games, right? Because you have some boss mechanics. If they're too lethal, the player doesn't have time to learn. They have to learn by failure, right? In our game is already like it already has a progression gate because it is like at its heart it is an RPG. So you cannot go like naked level 1 dancing mats clear the game like you would in like a Souls game or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not a full mechanical skill kind of game. I would say the mechanical skill is like 20% of health clock. The other 80% is game knowledge and progression and knowing how to pick the character, right? So since we already had that progression fail state, we felt like it's not a good fit for the game for us to have the bosses like one-shot you or heavily punish you for finding mistakes, you know? So we kind of give you the time, even if you're fighting a boss for the first time, usually it will give you enough time for you to learn its mechanics and overcome the challenge. And we also,
so even
there you go.
if you skip the whole dungeon or like the section, let's say, and then you got to the boss with like no levels, at least you can see something of the boss instead of just dying instantly.
Exactly. And now you got your first relics. So relics are the most important permanent progression that you can get in the game. And they usually change your skills very much. So here you have 2 for split shot and 1 for double knives. Split shot is the one you already have, and double knives is the spinny cyclone style spin to win skill. You can also redraw and check more if you want. Follow your heart. There really are no bad choices at first. Like the drop pool at the beginning of the game is very small, so we made sure that all the relics that drop from the first boss, they are useful to new players.
That's great. I think I'm gonna go with my heart and choose the piercing one. I always love when like it pierces more enemies. Let's go with that. Duration. Ooh, so many choices.
You level up quite a bit
Yeah.
on the boss. There you go.
A sacred relic.
Now you go to a new tile set. So this was basically 1/3 of the first dungeon. Each dungeon has 21 floors. And we have 3 dungeons right now in the game.
This evil lies much deeper.
Right now, how many do you plan of having?
We were working on a new dungeon for our expansion early next year. So it's going to have 21 more floors. That should basically be the final size of the campaign. Depends on the player and depends on the difficulty, right? So
Yeah.
you're playing on regular difficulty right now, and you're playing really well. So you're probably clear the campaign in like 14 hours, 12 hours, something like that. But if you play on veteran mode, and it's the first time you're playing, and you're figuring out your own build, you're not really looking up online for a guide on max roll or something like that. It might take you like 20 hours or something like that. And then we have endgame, and we have both like traditional RPG endgame, which you just push
Yeah.
higher with more challenges, and we also have an experimental game mode that we call Ascension, which is basically a roguelike mode, like a traditional roguelike, where you start from scratch every single time. You lose your
Oh.
meta progression. And we are also working on a new mode called Endless Nightmares, which is going to come early next year, which is basically our version of mapping, which is a familiar endgame for RPG players, like Torchlight 2 or Path of Exile. So Endless Nightmares is going to be our version of that.
So you're working on a lot of things right now,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, we're really supporting this game. We made a lot of improvements since release. We have been working like crazy, to be honest, like putting a lot of hours. We've done crafting recently, so we have full crafting system in the game right now for free. We're revamping the movement system because a lot of players have been complaining about the combat being this traditional, the old school Diablo style that you have to stay in place to attack. So new players really don't like that very much, and that was one of the
Oh.
biggest suggestions that we have. Like, hey, why don't you make it so that we can move and attack? So,
I see.
and even PoE2 has done that recently as well. So we thought, well, we might as well. Looks like new players are really put off by having to stop to attack. So we are working on this right now, and this is due to next month actually. So next month we have a full revamp on character movement and combat. So that's pretty cool. And next year we have an expansion coming, like I said, with another dungeon and new endgame system, a lot of new skills, a lot of new items and endgame stuff. Just a lot of content overall.
I have seen many.
How can you like manage all of the things that you're doing? How big is the team even?
The core team for Hell Clock is 7 people. I think working on the game right now we have like 14. I think 14. And that's like flexible, like artists and sometimes freelancers and stuff like that.
Right.
We'll go from project to project, right? But the core team at Hell Clock is about 7 since like a few years ago. And right now we're basically on this like response mode. Like if the game is selling decently well right now, and it makes sense for us to keep making free updates for the game, right?
Yeah.
And basically, like, if you ask me, I would want to keep doing that for years, right? The thing is, we have bills to pay, right? So
Yeah.
the game needs to keep selling for that to happen. So as long as the game is still selling, we're gonna still support it, and hopefully that happens for years. Right now, our plans are to support it until the middle of next year. We have enough money in the bank to do that. But if the game keeps selling well, the expansion sells well, like we can keep working for another year and another year, hopefully after that. Like I would love for a game to be like Grim Dawn, which is like one of my favorite games, and I think it's a really good model for an ARPG made by a small team. We have like this. We try to put mod tools in the game in the future, hopefully, and just like be very close to the community and do a lot of content, but also do a lot of options for players, and just make the game grow organically over time, without like any microtransactions or like battle passes or whatever. I think is a really healthy way to develop a game, and hopefully we get to do that for a long time. I think you're dead. The dog in the first run is really hard. It is possible, but it's really hard. Like he's nasty. The dog has probably killed the most players in Act 1. He killed more players than the final boss of Act 1 for sure.
Yeah. But not bad. Dying here for the first run.
That was great actually. Getting to the dog is usually my goal when I play. Like I tried in my first run get to the dog. Usually I don't even fight him unless I got like a really good gun or something like that.
Yeah.
Usually I just get to the dog and just return. I don't even fight him. And the game has hardcore, by the way, if people are curious. Like, you can play in hardcore, and if the time runs out, it doesn't count as death for hardcore. And also, you can return to town at any moment you want. So you only lose your character in hardcore if a monster kills you. To let a monster kill you, you lose your character.
Cannot go unprepared. I have more potent gear for you on my table.
Thank you, João. Let's check. So now we unlocked items.
Yeah, there you got gear, right? So this gear is permanent. It does not get resets when you go back. So you get to keep those. And they start really simple. This is basically just here damage, here's life, here's move speed, right? You start very simple. As you progress through the game, you're going to unlock more complex effects on the gear. Too bad you can't get the. Too bad you can't get the life. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I only have money for pants and a gun. It's okay. Okay, let me quit.
You can also drop this gear, right? So it's the shop. The only design goal of the shop is to mitigate bad luck, right? So if you have really bad luck and you cannot find good gear when you go in your runs, the shop is there to kind of mitigate that. But the main source of good gear in the game is killing monsters.
How do I exit this?
Just press ask, or there's a top right. Press B on your controller. You can press B on your gamepad as well, or press ask. Or maybe the game is bugged. Congratulations, game.
I have to say that I have a skill of bugging every single game I touch, okay? I will not blame the game because I just have somehow that skill.
But yes. This is interesting. It probably happened because you were playing on a gamepad and then you switched to mouse in the middle of the tutorial. I think it's okay. You can do that in Hellclock. I play like that, like you play a gamepad and then you go and play with the with mouse and keyboard for the menus, right? But it's probably a bug with the tutorial on top of that. Like you switch your inputs when the tutorial screen was up. You're gonna look at that. Thanks for finding a bug.
No problem.
But that's absolutely a good way to play the game. Just move around and then fight with the gamepad, and whenever there's a menu or items, you use your mouse. Perfectly fine. It's also how I play on my Steam Deck. This is a great Steam Deck game. It's really comfy to play on the Steam Deck. And usually I do the item management. I just drag stuff with the touchscreen. More comfy way to do it. And here's our first cutscene. Just shut up and let it play.
Killed the pastures, the cattle, and even the bravest cowboys. Hundreds of thousands wandered aimlessly through the backlands. Canudos rose as a beacon of hope for those who kept believing in divine mercy. From Monte Santo flowed the milk, and sprouted the corn that fed the Lord's flocks. But those who could change things in their villainy saw in our suffering a sordid way to keep prospering. The greed for gold. The Antichrist was thirsty for blood. With its gold, iron, and fire, it bathed Monte Santo with the blood of Backlander workers. Even the old folk, the women, and the children were not spared of the massacre. And as in a demonic ritual, they mutilated my body to imprison my soul. For as long as there was hope in the heart of the Backlanders, they feared Canudos, who would be born again. Brother, our history lives in the remains of the great bell of Canudos. You must restore our legacy. Every soul must know what really happened in Canudos.
There you go.
Mm.
And now you have unlocked your first skill tree. It's the Great Bell.
It's a very small skill tree. Very, very small.
It is actually. You do have bigger ones after. This kind
Oh
of
my gosh.
this is kind of the introductory skill tree.
Yeah, once I saw this, I just had like a PoE flashback of, of the skill tree.
Yeah, it's way simpler, and there's basically just
Yeah.
one path at first, right? And then it
Mhm.
spreads out, and it may look intimidating, but honestly, there's not really like a wrong answer. Again, you can do this wrong basically by just not picking up the big ones. The big ones are very important,
Yeah.
especially relic size. I would beeline for that, or maybe extra time if if the timer is really getting in your way because of your
Mhm.
playstyle. Or if you really think it's repetitive to run the same levels that you already clear, you can use the red portal. So the red portal basically
Oh.
skips you ahead to skips levels that you have already cleared before. So that's sort of for different play styles, right? If you just want to
Yeah.
min max, you just go straight for reliquary size. If you're if the timer is getting on your nerves, just go for time. And if you don't like repeating the same floors, just go for the red portal. But overall, just keep pathing down and getting the big ones. Should be fine.
My dear counselor, I shall rescue your soul and the memory of Canudo.
And now I need to equip your relics, which, like I said, is the most important meta progression. Like the gear is okay, right? The gear is going to give you some base stats, but this is what makes the character really OP and the stuff that you do really fun. So you got one for split shot and one for spectral knives. And both change the skills completely, right? The split shot one turns it from like 3 shots to a single one that pierces. It deals a lot more damage. And the blue cow side turns your spectral knives to lightning damage. Which is great, not only because it deals more damage and looks cool, but also lightning damage makes enemies shocked. So shocked enemies, they are more susceptible to ailments, uh, and also they are more susceptible to critical hits. So shocked is really huge. And you can either move the relics all the way, you can pick them up and move them all the way to the right, or you can just quick move them with one click and they get automatically sent there. If you press triangle, they get
Yeah.
auto move. And you're gonna notice in the bottom part there we have added crafting. You still don't have any crafting tools dropped,
Yeah.
but that's a new thing on patch 1.1. And this is our skill book. We don't give you all the skills at once because that will be a bit overwhelming for new players. So we just unlock skills as you progress through the game. But there are 21 skills right now on Alpha. And all of these skills, they can be heavily modified with the unique relics that you just picked up.
Oh, I love this. Yeah.
I recommend
Assign.
keeping your split shot because you have a relic for it, right?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go like this. Yeah. Give it
Uh,
a try.
I just recommend you keeping your split shots. I think you want to
Wait,
put
didn't?
this. Yeah, you put rapier in place of split shot. Oh, you didn't equip the relic, actually. So the big gun there, you want to equip that.
Ugh.
There you go. That, and then you equip the split shot skill in place of the
Gulag.
repeater. This one. There.
This one,
Yes.
assign instead of the repeater. There we go. And assign. Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
You should be good to go.
So it's
So you can see your spectral knives are already lightning. So we made sure that every time your skills are modified by relics, we try to give visual feedback.
I'm ready. Let's do one more.
Had not that merchant already perished?
You can see you deal a lot more damage now. You can basically just walk around
Yeah.
and let your spectral knives kill these guys on the first level.
From above or below?
Decisions. This one gives a lot more damage, but this one gives area effect, which I always love. But it's 40% of damage.
Yeah,
so
like
much.
area of effect is gonna help you now, just to clear faster, right? But the 40%
Yeah.
damage is really good for bosses and stuff. So I would look at that.
Yeah.
Now your knives are so powerful that you can basically just walk around and kill the enemies. You don't even need to stop to shoot them. With this kind of stuff, like the game almost turns like a Vampire Survivors kind of thing. Just walk
Yeah.
around and stuff dies. It's also a
True.
lot of fun. Oh, cooldown is nice. One thing that we have, there is really different about our game, is that, for example, some players they think it's a really good strategy to unequip skills, so you don't like waste the level ups with them. For example, oh, why would I have Shadow Dash, wasting my level ups when I really want them? Right?
Oh.
So we
yeah.
have two reasons why that's not a good idea. The first one is that the blessings are not infinite. You get a limited amount of them, and also a limited amount of rarities. So it's kind of like a deck of cards of upgrades, and after you run out of upgrades, you run out of upgrades. So it might be good early on, but it's bad late. And also, every single skill in the game has a synergy that we call a global buff. So for example, Shadow Dash, it's a skill that you use to move around, right? So maybe you just want to pick cooldown, maybe speed, and everything else you kind of don't care that much about usually. But the thing is, as you rank Shadow Dash up, Shadow Dash has a global buff that reduces the mana cost of all of your skills. So if you pick up level up upgrades for Shadow Dash, you're actually reducing the mana cost of every single one of your skills, which is huge, right? And that's the same for every skill in the game. Like every skill has a global buff. You can check that on the tooltip. So it's always a good thing to upgrade skills, even if you're really not using them that much. They're making your character more powerful passively as well. So this also took us a lot of iteration to make sure that there's a lot of strategy and knowledge that goes into building your character in the middle of the run. You really have to know how to do it optimally. But also we had to make sure that you have at least like a floor of power. Oh, you got a armor there. Nice. Your character is now dripped.
Yes.
More life. That dog is shaking right now.
Canudos shall have the record.
There you go, life regen, like I said.
Yeah.
Too bad you didn't have the go, but you will eventually. So these by the way are not random. These ones that you get from the statues that you buy with gold,
Oh, they're not?
they're not random. They're deterministic, and it's basically like buying items in like Dota or League of Legends. Like you buy one and then you have other one and they combine. It's kind of the same idea. Like as you purchase, if you purchase life stuff, it unlocks like life regen, and then if you have life regen, you can have another thing, but you won't get like a different path of upgrades. It's kind of like a skill tree in a way. There's a lot of those micro, like the skill ceiling for Hellclock is a lot higher than it seems in the first time you play it. It looks like, hey, it's just like giving me those colored level ups that every single game does right now, and it's giving me random upgrades, stuff like that. But it's actually a lot less random than it seems, and you have a lot of control over it, and you can really purposefully build your character as you progress through the dungeon.
It's interesting because the more you play, you will naturally memorize the path of those statues that you really want to take. Now I know it's not random.
Exactly. And like I said at the beginning, like this game is a lot more like an ARPG than it is to a game like Hades, in the sense of the mechanical progression. Like in Hades, you do get a lot of meta progression. You get more powerful in Hades. But a lot of your progression in a game like Hades is mechanical. Like you learn the patterns of the bosses, of the enemies. You learn how to use your weapons, stuff like that. In a game like Hellclock, it's much closer to Path of Exile Diablo, in that the main skill that you develop is how to develop your character. Like what items should I use? What are the bonuses on those items that matter the most to me? How do I use my crafting materials to the fullest? What skills I use? What upgrades I pick? So these are the things that you learn to progress in Hellclock. And another big difference in terms of combat is something that it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's something that is good, but I personally don't enjoy is the most action roguelikes, they do this kind of attrition-based combat where you have, usually it's health, right? Usually your health, like you take a few little hits here and there and you start to slowly, like your mistakes start adding up. Like it's very attrition based. You're punished by little mistakes and you're trying to make this perfect run where you don't make any mechanical mistakes. And you get like punished a lot by these little mistakes over time. And that's not bad. That's actually pretty cool design that a lot of people love. I personally don't like that very much. I think it's very stressful, especially when you're replaying the first areas that you already played a dozen times. With Hellclock is really not like that at all. So there you go. You can just trivialize the encounters, especially early on, which in my opinion makes the game a lot less repetitive. There you go. Now you have completely different relics from the first time. There aren't that many on the first act. The first act has just a few relics, not only because your skills, you don't have that many skills, but also because we didn't want to overwhelm new players and also make it too random, right? Where you could just not have a build that makes sense early on. But there's a lot of options. There's like, I've personally cleared Act 1 with 12 different builds that just play different and like do different things. They all like feel really powerful in Act 1. And after you get to Act 2, you have a lot more skills and a lot more relics, and just the variety just increases exponentially.
The difference already from damage that I did on my first run to now is just it's huge.
Yeah. The feeling of progression, I think, is something that we really focus on in Hellclock. Like, we really want you to feel powerful, especially on the early levels that you have already beat, right? As you progress the game, start feeling like a god and just zooming through the levels and exploding the entire screen, which is a very ARPG thing to do, right? But as you reach the limits of your character's current capacity, it starts to get really intense and really difficult, right? That's basically what we were aiming for. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with the normal action roguelike thing like Hades, right? Where you have to lock in and you cannot make mistakes early on. You have to make this long-term really good run, you know? But like my ADHD doesn't let me enjoy that much. Honestly, I like to just be lazy on the first floors and lock in for the parts that I haven't cleared yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Hellclock is very much like that. Like you can see that you can basically like just breeze through the stuff that previously was a challenge, and now you can lock in and kill the dog, and it's gonna be easier than before, right? And everything after the dog is gonna be harder, but after you're done, let's say you die a little bit further after the dog, right? You're gonna be way more powerful the third time, so even the dog is gonna be a breeze, right? You don't need to lock in until much further in the run. And I personally think that's a much more enjoyable loop for an action roguelike to have, like in my taste, right?
Yeah. It doesn't get as repetitive at all.
Yeah, 100%. And it's less stressful.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a stressful game, but I think overall, like ARPGs, like I like 20% stress, 80% just like feeling like a god. That's basically the golden ratio for me in the RPG, and we're trying to go for that in Hellclock. Like for example, last night I was playing the Arc Raiders beta, and that's an excellent game, but it's so stressful. Like after a few hours, it was Sunday night, and I was like, dude, I have to work tomorrow, and I'm like tired playing this game, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to chill. Right?
Yeah.
And I think Hellclock has a
Even though-
good ratio of chill versus try hard.
Yeah, exactly. Because even though you have the clock that keeps ticking down, it's still very chill in its own way. Unless, you know, obviously you start getting very overpowered, then you just start dying. But yeah, like visually, it might seem, for those that haven't played yet, it might seem very stressful, but it actually is not. And you just get like super immersed and just in the zone playing it.
Yes, it basically only gets stressful as you reach the limits of your character, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
when you reach floor 13, right now, the matriarch, which is the next boss, the big worm, the matriarch is probably gonna kick your ass. But then, like next time, everything before the matriarch, it's chill, and you just need to lock in for her, right? And then you beat her, and then it's progress, and it's hard again. But I think this roller coaster of okay, everything is chill, and then I'll lock in, and then chill again, some nice rewards, lock in afterwards. I think that's a pretty good loop for a game to have. You're not like constantly stressed, even with the clock, right? Because you just breeze through the level. And this is a blessing of the future. You can get those at random sometimes. You can exchange your gold for a permanent upgrade like gear or relics. Because usually gold is a resource that you only use inside of your run, right? To use your non-permanent upgrades. But on these special totems, you can actually like make an investment for your future runs and purchase like a permanent instead.
Alright, I would stay here playing forever, but unfortunately we have to go. Mark, thank you so much for the talk. Do you have anything extra to tell everyone besides go wishlist it, everyone? Please just go do it. It's really worth it. And buy the game, play the game. You won't regret it at all. It's really fun.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to showcase your games. Always really cool. Small studios like ours. It's like opportunities like these help us a lot. So thank you so much. And to everybody watching, if you want to buy the game, we have been supporting it very heavily, updating it a lot. We have a big update coming at the end of this month, and also an expansion coming next year. And if you like what you see, please go purchase it on Steam.
There you go. Thank you, everyone, and stay tuned for another IndieX session right next. See ya.
Hi there, I'm Mark Venturelli, Game Director on Hellclock. Hellclock is an Excel-like, roguelike game about crafting builds, gaining power, and blasting through dungeons as fast as you can to rescue the soul of your mentor from literal hell. Before you dive into hell, we got plenty of ways to customize your build. You start with just a few skills, which will eventually unlock 21 that you can heavily modify. You can also purchase or loot blessed gear that permanently improves your base stats. The Great Bell of Canudos is your first skill tree, letting you add more stats and unlock new features. Most importantly, there's a reliquary, where you equip relics found during runs. Unique relics can get really wild and completely change